Hello and welcome to the Somatic Movement and Mindset podcast with me, clinical somatic educator and founder of Total Somatics, Heidi Hadley. The Somatic Movement and Mindset podcast has been designed to help you gain a deeper understanding to how your mind and body work. You will learn about your amazing mind and body and why over time you can feel pain, recurring injuries and poor posture. Within this podcast, I will teach you why this doesn't have to be your future or the norm for you. Would you like to learn how to reduce pain, move freely, and gain a new lease of life? Let's get started. Hello and welcome back. Now, in this final mindset episode for the month, we're going to finish off with a bit of a super boost or a supercharge for you so we can carry on for the rest of the year. And so what we've learned from these episodes through this month is that mindset is crucial. And so what I'd love to do is share with you an extract from the 3-part workshop, which has just been released, which is called the 3 Pillars to Total Somatic Education. And those 3 pillars are mindset, mindfulness, and total somatic movement. So I'd love to share this with you. I'd love to hear your views and your thoughts on it. And so are you ready? Get yourself a nice cup of tea ready, put your feet up and enjoy this extract from the latest workshop that's been released regarding mindset. So let's get going. Let me bring this up because I just think if we're going to start this entire theme, I think Viktor Frankl is somebody that we can definitely say knows what stress is like. And to get advice from Viktor Frankl in this situation is really good. And so if we just consider this, and this can not just be in the last couple of years, but in life generally. He said that between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. And those are really powerful words if we think about it, because whatever happens in life, there's always going to be something that we can say can trigger us or create that stimulus for us. But it's where the power lies is before we either react or we respond to a situation. And we will learn in the second session the difference between the reactiveness and the responsiveness and which parts of the brains are involved within this. But can you see, we do have power. And what we need to do is, in order to choose how we respond to a situation, we've got to understand where our nervous system lies and also understand a little bit more about our belief systems and also things that we just need to develop and work on over time. And so this is where I'd really like to share this with you, because do you remember I said to you that people's behaviors have changed? You know, there's a real lack of tolerance and that sort of thing because people are in a heightened stress sense. Now, let me share this with you, because this will start to break down and make sense, and it starts to create a framework for the entire like long weekend, as it were, together. Now, within your central nervous system, you basically have, and within your brain, you have this action that's basically that your brain is acting like a guard dog. And what it's doing is it's constantly looking and assessing the situation, looking to see if a situation is safe or not. So it takes lots of factors involved, and it could be things like, is the environment safe? Do I have a good support system to look after me in this situation? Am I able to encounter this person or this situation? And do I need to be on alert because of that situation? Do I trust my body? You know, all these sorts of things can be the case. And what's happening is when you have this assessment that's going on, your nervous system is taking so many things on a subconscious level to gather if we're safe or not. Now, this action is called neuroception. And I've put this picture on here for a very good reason. So I'll give that there, but I'm going to take the screenshot off so that hopefully this little reenactment is going to be a good memory for you. Right. So we see neuroception in children really easily because have you ever had this situation where somebody's holding a baby on their hip and the baby's smiling away, really happy, and you think, what a cute little baby, and then you go peering your face into the baby and you go, hello, how are you? And the baby, because the baby can't get away from the situation, it's got a very primitive like survival brain response at this point, because the baby can't run away, it's in somebody's hands or arms. What's the first thing that neuroception, you know, their nervous system, that guard dog has thought, who's this weird person putting their face into my face? I don't know who they are and I can't get away.
what's the instinctive response that the nervous system will create for that child? They're going to go and scream, aren't they? They're going to scream, and then the parent goes, oh, I'm so sorry, so sorry. They're not usually like this, and they're trying to apologize for the situation. But that is a really, really basic, simple example of neuroception. Babies can't flee from a situation, where adults in this situation, they can. And so you're gathering this information all the time. And remember, we are more sensory than motor. So we're using our senses. There's so many things that we're taking in and filtering all of the time to basically gauge if this situation is safe or not. And so what's happened is in the world, people's level, through their neuroception, their nervous systems are on like heightened alert all the time. Because for a couple of years, their nervous system was saying that they're not safe. In crowds, they're not safe. In other situations, they're not safe. And what it does is it dials up the stress response. It hypersensitizes the nervous system. And when that happens, they can get really reactive or responsive or emotional to any kind of response. And that's literally because the nervous system has been just dialed up more and more and more. And the nervous system is like, this is not safe. We're not safe in this situation. And it's like this vicious loop or vicious circle that happens. And so when that happens, it becomes a new behavior or a learned behavior. And that's why people will just react and fly off the handle at the simplest things, because their nervous system, and there's other factors involved, but their nervous system has really upregulated and become hypersensitive. So what we're wanting to do this weekend, and we're going to look at this through tonight or today, tomorrow, and on Sunday, is how we can just start to recalibrate the level of neuroception. So you know that you're in charge. The education that you're learning here is basically going to start to make you think, I don't need to be so fearful. Now I'm understanding a lot more of how my body's responding. So let me just share now with you how this all can come about as well. It's very, very fascinating part of your brain. So you've got a really cool area called the reticular activating system. And you may have heard me mention this in some of my blogs. If you haven't, I'm going to just share the blogs that's applicable to at the end, or should I say podcasts, because I mention a lot about the reticular activating system. But your reticular activating system, it basically is filtering throughout the day and all through your life data and information that from what you feed your mindset, you think is relevant. And this is what really ties in with the neuroception. So if you think you're in a state of danger, you're going to be filtering and perceiving and taking in things which are just going to reinforce that belief system. Because your brain is going to look for credible evidence to justify why you want to hold this belief system in this state of fear or anxiety. But the reticular activated system is the part, and it's just this little bit here. See the little red area here? It's part of your subconscious. So it's just taking in constantly and what is relevant at that situation. And I'd like us just to consider a few examples of how this shows up in your life. And it could be, for instance, have you ever wanted to purchase a new car and you start researching that car, reading around that car, maybe you go for a test drive. And then the next thing is you see that car everywhere and you think, were there that many cars before? Or am I just imagining things? But you see, what's happened is your reticular activating system, from the data and the information you've been taking in, is now narrowed it down, filtered, and created a focus of looking for that particular car, because that is really a priority at this point in your life. And another situation could be that you're with a group of people, and when you're with that group of people, all of a sudden you're chatting away in your little collective group of people, and then all of a sudden you can hear the odd word and your name across the room being mentioned, and you think, what's going on over there? So you're pretending that you're listening to the group you're in, going, oh yeah, smiling at the appropriate times. But your reticular activating system is now focusing on what is being discussed over there. So because you can really hone in on what's going on the other side of the room, you start to pick up certain words and expressions to try and decipher what basically is that conversation. That's how your reticular activating system will really start to narrow down and focus on what you want to feed your mindset, basically. And then there's also situations in life whereby, have you ever had this, that somebody's relayed some secondhand information to you about somebody else? So it might not be the most flattering, it might be quite unpleasant information. And you're listening to this information and you're basically hearing it secondhand from somebody that's perceived it through their lens, which doesn't always mean it's correct, but it's how they've perceived it. So all of a sudden, conversations and words and expressions that that person used to say has now been switched and changed, because listening to that secondhand information, you're now filtering with your reticular activating system and basically perceiving and interpreting a situation through a different lens that you were fed through someone else, because you've allowed your reticular activating system to focus and filter and narrow down to that data that you've been given. And likewise, that can also come about from well-meaning health practitioners. They mean things, but sometimes it might not be delivered in the right sense, or it might not be perceived by that patient or that individual in the right way. So it could be, for instance, that a disempowering expression has been used. It could be that health practitioners said that you've got a crumbling spine, or your discs are collapsing. Or you might be, like, I know somebody in the past that was about 35 years of age, and they were told that they had a back of an 80-year-old. You know, they've got like fragile back, don't move your back, don't do too much. And all these sorts of things, when your reticular activating system and other parts of your brain start to hear these disempowering beliefs and expressions, you start to narrow down, focus, and you start to then think, okay, so I've got a fragile back, I better not move it. And it will change your mindset. It changes the lens and the way that you perceive and look at things. So can you see that however you feed your mindset, your reticular activating system is going to be narrowing down and focusing on that data. Remember, your brain gathers the information, the credible evidence that will justify what you want to believe. And so that's where we have to kind of unpack it and think, actually, if we are finding that we're having the same negative sort of loop in our life, maybe this, and this is why this whole weekend is an ideal time to jumpstart and reassess what is actually going on with your mindset and how can we change it. Now, this is why that expression, let me bring it back up for you, what you focus on grows, is so, so important, because this is where it could be our self-belief. It could be that the way that we interact with people, for instance, is a reflection of our own self-worth. So we can start to create negative narratives in our head about a situation. And that's basically because of what we focus on grows. If we think negatively, if we kind of look for a negative slant in a conversation, this is what's going to happen. So this is where can we get really selective, and we're going to look at how we can do this over the next few days, really selective about what we feed our mind and what we make fertile in our mindset, because it can affect our relationships with people if we allow this area to kind of roll out of control and basically can cause like self-sabotage for us.
So there's just a little snippet there from the 3-part workshop, and that particular episode was on mindset. So if you'd like to purchase this 3-part workshop, which again, remember, is the 3 pillars to Total Somatic Education, that's mindset, mindfulness, and Total Somatic Movement. If you go to totalsomatics.com and then click on the shop page, you will actually be able to purchase it there. And don't forget, if you purchase before Tuesday, the 31st of January, 2023, you will be able to benefit from the 20% offer for the new year. So all you need to do in capitals is go to the promo code box on the online shop and put New Year Offer. And if you put New Year Offer, you will get 20% off anything that you purchase within the Total Somatics online shop. And so especially within that 3-part workshop that's just been released, you will be able to gain a deeper understanding into the fundamentals or the pillars that Total Somatics Education is all about. And there is so much more exciting things coming your way. I can't wait to share the huge exciting news that Total Somatics has for you in 2023. So please stay connected. And in order for you to be the very first to find out this huge exciting news, which I'm bristling to tell you, but I will wait a little bit longer, if you go to totalsomatics.com, click on the Join Now page, and you'll find that there's an option to put your details in for the wait list. So the wait list is also if you want to join the Total Somatics membership. But if you are in that box there, if you put your details in the box, you will also receive the information that's going to be launched very, very soon with the Total Somatics online. Well, I better not say any more, because if I do, I will be ruining the surprise for you. But all I can say is it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be wonderful because I'll be able to share so much more of what I'm teaching with you to so many more people around the world. So do stay connected. So there's those options. As we come to finish this month, we've got totalsomatics.com. Go to the shop page, click on shop, and use the promo code, which is New Year Offer, to get 20% off anything within the shop. And also, if you want to join the wait list to come into the Total Somatics membership or find out all the exciting news that's coming your way soon, go to totalsomatics.com, click on the Join Now page, and you will be the first to find out when it's hot off the press, my announcement. So until next time, all my love and very best wishes. Take care. Bye. Thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and also forward this on to somebody you know will benefit. To learn more about pain relief, plus how to improve your health and well-being, go to totalsomatics.com. Until next time, take care.